We are The Table, and we are so glad that you have taken time out of your week to join us. Here at The Table, it is our hope to move you forward in life and faith over the course of this message. At The Table, we do things just a bit differently. We pose questions in real time, and we want to give you some time to wrestle with those questions as well. Again, thanks for joining us, and we hope that this message moves you forward.
You can have a seat, church. Thanks for being here today. Hey, if it's your first time here, my name is Brad, and I'm one of the pastors here. And can we just celebrate anyone who's new here today? Can we just celebrate them today for the courage to come in, the courage to come into a new place and a new space? And it's all weird. And listen, we're not going to make you stand up. We're not going to make you feel uncomfortable today. That we're really glad that you're here. For those of you who are new or haven't been here in a while, I just want you to know this Sunday and next Sunday are my final 2 Sundays. That's it. It's been such a joy to be with you. So this week is the second to last week, and next week you won't want to miss it. You won't want to miss it. It's going to be a good week. We have some baptisms coming up. It's going to be good. But we are in step 4. I want you to know this, that in this transition, we have a 10-step process that we have been walking through. And I want you to know that the church and your leadership team, by the way, your leaders are just amazing people. You are in good hands. Yeah, you can celebrate them too. And so they're in step 4 of this process of 10, where they are putting the profile together of what they want their pastor to look like. Apparently I wasn't good looking enough, and so they're looking for somebody else who's just better looking than me. But they've also started identifying people who will end up becoming the lead pastor here, and that's good. So they're kind of in part 5. But once you get past 5, man, it's gonna be go time, and you're gonna have a new lead pastor soon. Can't promise you that, but it's just my feeling. So would you continue praying for this church? Would you continue praying for this leadership team as they look for the new lead pastor? Today, I want to continue our series called To Be Continued. And we've been working with this idea that many of us quit our faith rather than continue our faith. And the problem and the reason why we quit our faith is because we start from a place of how rather than who. And so over the last 4 weeks, we have been working through these I am statements, because who you are is more important than how you take on your faith. And so we've said this. We've said, I am victorious. I am called. I am poised. I'm important. And I want you to say this with me today, because this is so important. I am prepared. I am prepared. That you are victorious, you are called, you are poised, and today you are prepared. And this passage I'm going to read to you, got to be honest, never thought in my lifetime would I be preaching from Chronicles. But today, this passage has meant so much to me and to my life and where I've been over the last couple months. And so I thought, what a great way in our final 2 weeks together to preach Chronicles 22. 1 Chronicles 22. Here's what it says. Actually, you know what? I'm missing something here. You know what I'm missing? I'm missing you guys standing up. Come on, stand with me. Let's celebrate this. Here we go. Yes. Look at me, already forgetting. Here we go. 1 week off and you can't remember. It said, David ordered all the resident aliens in land to come together. He sent them to the stone quarries to cut dressed stone, to build the temple of God. He also stockpiled huge quantities of iron for nails and bracings for the doors of the gates, more bronze that could be weighed in the cedar logs past counting. David was thinking, my son Solomon is too young to plan ahead for this, but the sanctuary that is to be built for God was meant to be great. The sanctuary that was meant to be built for God was meant to be great. It was meant to be the talk of all the nations, that everybody would come and see this place. And then it says, that's why David prepared this huge stockpile of construction materials. That's why David prepared the stockpile, commanding him to build a sanctuary for the God of Israel. David said to Solomon, hey, I wanted to build this place in the worst way, but my God prevented me. He said, you've taken too many lives. You've fought too many wars. And now I need somebody else to build my temple. He says, you're going to have a son, and he will be a quiet, peaceful man. And I will calm his enemies down on all sides. His very name will speak peace, and his name is Solomon. By the way, if you thought dad puns were like a new thing, I just want you to know, like the Bible was way ahead of the game. Because the word Solomon actually is like this play on this word peace called shalom. So you got Solomon, shalom, and it's a huge dad joke that none of you are getting right now, but it's really funny. He said he will be the one that builds the sanctuary, and it will be in my honor. He will be my royal adopted son, and I will be his father, and I will make sure that the authority of his kingdom in Israel lasts forever. Again, the message title for today is I am prepared. So would you high five or fist pump 5 people and tell them I am prepared? 3 people, 5 people, make it happen. Say I am prepared. Awesome. So have you ever met those people in life who are just like, you can sit down, by the way, I'm sorry. You ever met those people in life? They're really annoying. They're like prepared for everything. Like if there were any circumstance, problem, if there were any pandemic, like anything that could happen, any like just unbelievable, catastrophic thing that could happen, they're prepared for it. You know how you can recognize these people? Do you know this? Have you met them? They wear these things called cross-body bags. Isn't this amazing? If you're old school, we used to call these fanny packs. Time out. This is it. I like it when we sag. Here's the thing, right? These are the people that feel the need to strap a Walmart Superstore to their pants, just below their belly button. And it seems like no matter what happens, they have got something in here for everything. Like you've met these people, you've gone to the store and you go to the cash register and they're like, we're sorry, our credit card machines are down. And they're like, oh, I don't need Venmo. I don't need a credit card. Look. These amazing things called a check. Do you have a pen I could borrow? Nope, I got one. No worries. I'm going to find it in here. Well, I'm just going to have to drop stuff today because my fanny pack's so full. But you've met these people, like, right? The credit card, it's not working. Hey, don't worry. I got a check. It's got all my bank information. It's got my address. You can find me. You can donate to. You can steal from. It's all right here. Just take it. Like yesterday, I was at a soccer game all day from like 2 until 8 p.m. It was not a soccer game. It was multiple soccer games. It would have been the longest soccer game in history if it was from 2 to 8. But yesterday, I have my sunglasses on. Not these ones because I can't see out of them anymore. But my the lotion on my face kept getting in my sunglasses. And I was realizing like, hey, I can't see. And so I would wipe them off. But if you had a fanny pack and you were prepared, you'd be good to go. Actually, you need to wipe it off. I can't see you. These are the people who, like, if as you get older, you lose your teeth, and unfortunately, like, you bite into an apple and they get stuck, and you just need like some Dentifix or something. Hey, I got you covered. Just glue these to your teeth. I don't know what it's called because I don't have dentures yet, but one day I'll get there. Just go ahead, put some of this on your gums and you're good to go. See, I'm prepared. This is not working out. I'm going to keep this because this is mine. But think about this with me for a minute, right? People are not prepared because they have a plan. People are not prepared because they have a plan. People are prepared because they've made the preparations. You see, at some point, somebody made the preparations. They took time out of their day. They decided to drive all the way to whatever store it was they were going to go to, and they decided to walk down the aisle, and they strategically thought through every situation that could possibly happen in life, and they were like, oh yeah, I'm going to get a blister in 2025. I should probably grab 5 bandages that cover that, moleskin and all that kind of stuff. Like every situation. But it's because they made preparations. And I need you to get this today, that it's the preparations not being prepared that changes the outcome. You see, the moment is saved because they've made preparations a long time ago. They've done the work. They've prepared themselves for the moment that they've stepped into where something is needed and somebody needed help, and they're like, I got you covered, no worries. And so I want to tell you this today, this is so key, that the depth of your preparation serves as the foundation for the height of your future success. Can we leave that up there, Ron? That'd be fantastic. The depth of your preparation serves as the foundation for the height of future success. What I know is that for you and me, many of us, like when we think about God, we think about big dreams. We think about big plans. We think that God wants to use our lives in ways that we've never even thought of or dreamed of. But the reality is we just want to look at what God's building, but we don't want to pay attention to the preparations. We don't want to walk down the aisles. We don't want to make the drive. We don't want to put in the schedule. We don't want to put in the time that's going to get us to where God is taking us. And so this morning, I want to go back to this scripture because it's so important. And in the story, it says this, it says, David was thinking, my son Solomon is too young to plan ahead for this. But the sanctuary that is to be built for God has to be the best. It's got to be the highest. It's got to be the greatest. I mean, I love that he's pointing out that Solomon wasn't ready for this. Solomon wasn't ready to build. There was preparations that needed to be made. And that's why David prepared this huge stockpile of building materials. And I want you to notice this. It wasn't until David prepared that he could tell his son this. He said, my son Solomon, I command you to build a sanctuary for God. You see, Solomon could only build the heights of the temple because of the depth of his father's preparations. Solomon could only build the heights of God's temple because of the depth of his father's preparations. You see, the height of anything is the function of its depth. Let's say it real cheesy today for you, so I know you'll remember this. The deepness determines the steepness. How's that sound? The deepness determines the steepness because the depth of your preparation serves as the foundation for the future of your success. And so I want to talk about you for a minute. Okay, this is a weird message. I just got to be honest with you. This is not like a normal message that we give. This is more like a State of the Ending Union address. How's that? But I want to talk about you for a minute. When I look at each of you out here today, many of you are ambitious people. You have really big dreams. Some of you, you're ready to move to the next level in your job. Some of you are ready to move in the next level, take over this next position. You're ready to be promoted. Like, you're ready for that. Some of us are ready for the next level in our relationship. Some of you are dating and you're ready to be engaged. Hopefully none of my high schoolers here today are ready for that. But you're dating and you're ready to be engaged. You're engaged and you're ready to be married. And you're married and you're ready to have kids. Like, these are all the next levels. And then if you have kids, you know the greatest thing that you look forward to is being a grandparent. Some of us cannot wait to be grandparents because the best thing you can do is spoil a kid and send them away because they've turned into a brat. Like, we're ready for this. Like, some of you, your biggest dream is raising grandkids and hanging out with them and giving this amazing life and being present for games. Some of you have ambitious faith. Some of you want admirable faith. You want courageous faith. You want no fear faith. You'll step into anything at any moment, any time. And you want people to look up at you and say, man, I wish I could be like them. But here's what I know, is that for you and me, the greatest struggle is that we aren't prepared. The greatest struggle for you and me is that we don't want to make the preparations. We don't want to walk the aisles. Do you know why this is? It's because it's not glorifying. It's not amazing. Nobody sees the groundwork that's happening. When you're making preparations, nobody's paying attention to the time you went to the store to get things ready. When you're making preparations for your life and the next level of your leadership, in your marriage, and even in your faith, it's the preparations that no one sees that prepare you for the building that needs to happen in your life. I like to think about it this way. Let's talk about, I'm going to say the Sears Tower. That's the real name, okay? The Sears Tower today. You see, you desire for your life to be 1,415 feet in the air. I think that's right. You can fact check me later. You want to see this amazing building, this amazing life that you're building. And what happens when we see these skyscrapers that are built is we always celebrate the engineers who design it, right? These are the guys who put the plans and gals who put the plans together. They design everything. They get all the people in the right places. And then this big structure is built and everybody's like, woo, that's amazing. But nobody pays attention to the people doing the groundwork. You see, the height of anything is a function of its depth. And nobody pays attention to the construction worker that's digging 100 feet deep into the ground to prepare the foundation. Nobody pays attention to the construction worker that's laying the footing. Nobody's paying to the construction workers that are pouring the concrete. Why? Because nobody really cares. But see, you cannot have the height of that building without people who are willing to do the work that nobody sees. The work behind the scenes, the work that's not glorious. See, we all want the glory. We want the big tower, but the reality is the tower that God wants to build in your life, the life that God is wanting to build through you, can only happen when the foundation is laid, because the depth of your preparation serves as the foundation for the height of your future success. And I want you to know today that there is preparation in your life that needs to happen. See, some of you come in here every single Sunday and you're not prepared for God to do a work in your life. I want you to know today, when you come into the presence of God, whether it's in this space or at your home, God intends to do a work every single day through you. That is preparation. Preparation is when you put yourself at the feet of God every single day, hearing His word, opening your hands, getting on your knees in the moment saying, God, you can only do it through me. I can't do it, only you can do it. You see, preparation is when you show up here every single Sunday. Listen, if you're a once a monther, not once a weeker. If you are a once a monther, a once a year, I'll say you use God as a crutch. God is not your crutch, He's your Christ. He is your Savior. He is the one that has changed your life. Why would you not want to show up every single Sunday and celebrate what God is doing? You see, the preparation is when you come in here knowing that when you leave, you will not be the same. Preparation is when you begin to ask big of God and you're direct and you're unafraid to say, this is what I need from you in this moment. Preparation is when you put yourself in a place where you're willing to learn and you're willing to grow because you don't know it all. Preparation is when you are willing to invest in other people because your life is not about you, but it's about growing other people who can also walk along and make a difference. You see, God has laid the foundation in your life because you are prepared. And guess what? It is time to build. Sorry, I'm really excited today. You're staring at me like, this dude's crazy. I am crazy, I can assure you of that. So can we talk as a church for just a minute? This is where it gets kind of like weird, because it's not like a message. So many people in the last couple years, or even in the last few months, have said to me, I know that the table has not turned out the way that you wanted it. And it's funny to hear people say that, because I think they think numerical numbers are the only thing that I care about. Numerical numbers, that's like the same thing. Alphabetical numbers, there we go. And here's what I've learned, like the reason why this passage, this Chronicles 22 passage resonates with me so much is that I look back over the last 7 years. Now, I know some of you are like, the table's been open like only 3 years. I'll get to that in a minute. But the last 7 years, the work that we've done here has not been building a church. It's been laying the foundation. You see, what frustrates me is that I really wanted to build a church so everybody could see it. But the reality is, when I look back, it's like, no, Brad, you're just a construction worker. You're just a seasonal temp guy who's got the construction hat on, and ain't nobody gonna see your work. And so I wanna talk about where we've come as a church, because I believe that the foundation has been laid. And so here's what I wanna start today. You see, the preparation started when we built from a team from the bottom up. We started building from the bottom up. So let me give you the history. This church has only been open like 3 years, half of it during COVID. So are we really open for 3 years? But in 2015, I became the pastor of this church called Joliet First Church of the Nazarene, which was over on Briggs Street next to the fire department. You can drive by it. In fact, many people told me, we drive by your church all the time. We just never come in. Oh yeah, I've been by that. And when I arrived in 2015, I remember Jeannie, who's on the piano today, was our worship leader. And on that first Sunday, I said, so when do y'all have staff meetings? And she said, well, the only time we have staff meetings is when there's a problem. And I said, well, that's a problem. And we're gonna have a problem every single week if we don't start meeting. And so we started meeting together as a staff, and we had volunteer people, and we were putting a team of people together who I'll just be honest, like, we had what we had, and we were figuring it out, and it was awkward and weird, and it was good, and it was fun, and people were stepping up, and it was awkward on my part at times because I screwed it up a lot. I really did. But here's what I do know. Don't laugh, Jeannie. Here's what I do know is that over the course of 7 years, we began to find people and to put together a team that has just built this amazing leadership team of people, and I feel like we are better in leadership than we ever have been before. Yo, I found Todd on Craigslist. Like, hey, this isn't in my message, but I just gotta tell it to you. I posted a worship leader position on all these professional sites, none of them work. I put this worship position on Craigslist, and I gotta be honest, this dude from Chicago, this Rastafari dude who's like sitting in all this incense, would send me his resume and his video every single week, and I'm like, bro, if I was like doing a seance, I'd hire you. And so I'm laying in bed that night, and I'm like, tomorrow I'm taking it off. I'm so tired of this same resume every single day. And the next morning I wake up, and here's Todd, who had emailed me. He didn't follow any of the directions, by the way. He just sent me a video, no resume, just said, I'm interested. And we met Todd that way. But we built a team from nothing to this amazing group of leaders who I believe has been so much fun to serve with. We built from the bottom up. I think some of the preparation comes from this mindset of moving from us to them. From us to them. You see, in some sense, we We became a church that realized the church doesn't exist for itself, but rather it's meant to sacrifice itself for the sake of people who need to know Jesus and the gospel. And we were really inward focused. And what happened was we decided, hey, let's just start doing some projects that will move us outward. And so we did this thing called community. It was really, really cool. Literally, it just said community on the front, and we spelled it uniquely just to be weird and different. And so people are like, I like your shirt. And so what we would do is we would go out into the community and we'd say, hey, how can we help you? What projects do you have at your house? We would build patios. We would build decks. We would cut grass. We would just pray. How can we pray for you? How can we pray for you? We started a clothing organization that would give people who were in desperate need of clothes, like virtually free. It was nothing for them. We just clothed people. We were working with people who were addicted and poor and broken and people who were homeless. And I gotta be honest, we spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars trying to help people. And we learned what we could do and we learned what we couldn't do. But here's what I know is when I look back through all those projects, and not all of them lasted forever, is that we moved from us to them. That we would sacrifice the sake of our church for those who need to know Christ. It was powerful. The other preparation was a new mindset from now and not tomorrow. If you know me, I will often say to you, the people who drive me nuts are the ones who allow their dreams to get stuck in their imaginations. To me, waiting time is wasted time. If you're like, oh, we should wait on that, and we should think about that, and we should, ain't nobody got time for that. I'm here for roughly 80 years, if I make it to that. And every day counts. And so we decided that we were going to build a culture that did not wait to move on things. And so one of these, it seems so small, but it was a big deal, is we decided to renovate our foyer at the old church. Now, I know you're like, look at this thing. I'm sure when it was built in the 70s, it was beautiful. But in 2020, it was, well, you can see. And so we told people, we said, we're gonna renovate the foyer because people would hang out in the back and they'd be eating donuts and nobody would be up front. And so when people would come in the door, there was a lack of energy. It just felt really weird when new people came in. And it's probably why they left a good majority of the time. And so we thought, let's change this whole thing. Let's blow out some walls. Let's paint some things. Let's put up redo the floors. And there's David taking the walls out. And here's the funny thing. I stood in front of the church for a week and said, if you want anything that's here, come and get it, because by next Sunday, it won't be here. And the best story ever. I'm not gonna name names, but when Janelle rolled up at church the next Sunday, she said, babe, you will not believe it. This amazing lady, no names, but Sandy Jones, who's our greeter lady, Janelle rolls up into the parking spot and she sees feet hanging out of the dumpster. Sandy was dumpster diving on a Sunday. She's over there laughing at me. She was dumpster diving on a Sunday because she didn't believe when we said we were gonna throw things away that we would actually throw them away. And I didn't know that grandma's blinds were that important. I'm really sorry, I didn't. But it said, it's just a foyer. But for me, it was a foundational moment. Because we set the culture of we don't wait. There is no tomorrow, it's only today. And I believe that's what has moved us to this place of the table. Yeah, this is part of the renovated foyer. It was amazing when it was done. Amazing when it was done. I think the other thing that we have to see too is the preparation was about a new future and financial stability. So if I could be honest, before we planted the table, the location that we had, the spiritual health of our church, and the financial dependency upon outside income was like our lifeblood. Like if it wasn't for a school that was renting from us, we wouldn't have made it. And so we began having talks with Hopewell. These people are amazing. By the way, they own the church now that's on Briggs Street, and we love them, and they're doing amazing things with students, and it's really cool. And so we just approached them and said, hey, would you be interested in buying our church? And that was so scary. We're getting ready to sell a property, and they said, yeah, we'll buy it from you. So we sold that church, and then the week that our speakers at the church caught on fire, we ran into this place, and we thought, wow, this could be a good opportunity. And I wish I could show you pictures of what this place looked like before, but we paid cash for this property. We paid cash for this property. And what is amazing is there was a group of people, a small group of people who said, yeah, for the sake of the kingdom, I'll do this. And they began to gather, and we began to plan, and we began to strategize about what this church could possibly look like. And on September 22nd, 2019, on the rainiest day in history, we launched the table. We launched the table. Yeah, you can celebrate that. And what's amazing is that the table has turned into this joyful, exuberant Jesus party. See, that's not just language. That is a foundation that has been prepared. We have gone from a cross-armed church to an arm-raised church. It's amazing to watch you guys celebrate the work that God is doing in your life. Can I just say that today? It is so much fun to come into this place where people understand that God is moving in their hearts and their lives, that God blesses them, He anoints them, He empowers them, and we get to celebrate it. I've never been in a church where they throw streamers, they have beach balls, they have balloons on baptism. Isn't that amazing? It's so much fun. We have cake. We have cake and punch for communion. Cheers. It's amazing. And I love it because we've become a church who will stand and give thanks for the word of God, even when your pastor forgets. And I'll never forget our first Google review came from somebody, and I've said this before, but somebody who said, yeah, they have a party theology. I've been in school, I got a master's degree. I don't ever remember talking about party theology, but apparently it's a thing. And I'm glad that we've made it a thing because we are an exuberant, joyful Jesus party when we come into this place, and it's a foundation that's been laid. The last one is we are a people who move forward. We are a people who move forward. So when COVID came in and you ruined everybody's lives, this was a time where we could have stood and said, well, we're in trouble. We're a new church. Half the people to our church are new. They never knew Christ before, and we're in lots of deep water. And I'm so proud that you and our team said, no, we're going to see this as an opportunity. That whenever we're faced with problems, we don't look at the problem, we look at the opportunity in front of us. And what we have realized during this time is that, hey, while we can't be together, we realize that in the future, we need really spiritually healthy people. And so we set out over the course of the last 2 years to figure out what does it look like to have leaders and people in a church who are spiritually healthy and who are moving forward. And so we started with this. We said we want to build a culture of baptism where we get to give God thanks for it's an outer sign of His inner work and what's happening, and we want to build a culture of baptism. And you just don't get to baptisms by saying, we want to have lots of baptisms. We realize, oh, no. You have to care about people. You have to meet one-on-one with people. And so we started trying this thing out where we would do this 8-week study with these young people and older people and all people. And half of you here today have been through a study, and it's amazing. And you've shared your faith with other people. And we've watched that continue to grow. And over this last year, we said from October 2021 to October of 2022, we want to baptize 15 people. And I know some of you are like, 15, that's not that many. Can I just tell you, this last year, in a pandemic season, we averaged a whopping 85 people. 85 people. Well, I mean, you can celebrate that. Now you do the math. We are 5 months ahead of schedule. Last week, we baptized our 16th person. Yes, 16 people. We said, hey, we want to do 15 by October 22. And guess what? We're only in May and we're at 16. And at this rate, we will baptize over 30% of our church. 30% of our church. Yo, that is astronomical. That is a miracle that only God can do because we move forward. And so I need you to hear this today. That the depth of your preparation serves as the foundation for the height of your future success. And today, it doesn't feel like there's a lot to celebrate because it's just a foundation. It doesn't feel like there's a lot to celebrate because when we look out, we don't see a big building. We don't see everything we thought we would see. But I gotta just tell you, like, who cares? This work has been so much fun. And as I was reading through Ezra, if you've not read through Ezra, you should. I came across this passage where the remnant of Israel comes back and they rebuild the temple that Solomon had once built. And they had come out of captivity and they're walking into this place. And listen to what it says. It says, when the builders laid the foundation, when they laid the foundation of the temple of the Lord, the priests in their vestments with their trumpets and the Levites with their cymbals took their places and they praised the Lord. They took their place after the foundation was laid, nothing that anybody could see, and it says that they praised the Lord. With praise and thanksgiving, they sang to the Lord, oh, he is good. Our God is amazing. Our God works through us in amazing ways. He is so good and his love endures forever. And all of the people gave a great shout of praise. Woo! Yes. Isn't that feels good to me? I don't know about you. Can we just do that together? Like, can we give a shout of praise this morning that says, woo! Yes. A shout of praise because the foundation of the Lord had been laid. And today, come on, church, I want you to stand up. We're going to celebrate that what God has done over the last 7 years is lay the foundation for our church to be built in the future. Would you celebrate that with me this morning? Come on, let's sing together. And I've got 30 minutes of content to get through in 1 minute. Can I make a confession today? Can I confess as your pastor? I wanted more than anything to build the table. I wanted more than anything to build the table. In fact, this was the promise that I made to God. I'm here for the rest of my life. I will serve you here. I will raise my kids here. I will be here as long as you want. And I have to be honest, like, I did not want to hand off this church to some little punk who has never sacrificed a single thing in their life. Like, no, I did this work. Like, I've taken the bullets. I've taken the heat. Can I just be honest? I've lost some friends in this process, and it's painful. And I really didn't want to hand it off to some undeserving jerk who didn't need it. You know what I mean? Even David says that. He said, son, I want you to know, I wanted to build the temple. I wanted to build the temple so badly for my God. But here's what I know is that sometimes the person who prepares has to pass it on. Sometimes the person who prepares has to pass it on. And the reason we pass it on is to put trust back into the right hands. You see, passing it on is about saying, no longer is it in my hands, but it's in God's hands. I'm just letting you know today, we're going to go through this season together where we have some questions and we're not really sure. And this is a time where we get to put everything that we believe in back in God's hands. And I want you to know that the foundation has been laid and the future that God has for us is bright. And so I just want to read to you what David says to his son. He says, God be with you. God's speed as you build this sanctuary. God's speed as you build your faith. God's speed as you build your life and as God uses you in so many beautiful ways to change the world. God's speed be with you. Because God has given you a job. He's given you this job. And may God also give you discernment and understanding when he puts you in charge of Israel so that you will rule in reverent obedience under God's revelation. That's what will make you successful. Following the directions and doing the things that God has commanded. And then I love this. He says, take courage. Take courage. Take charge. Don't be timid. Don't hold back. You're all set. It's time to get to work. Take courage. Take charge. Don't be timid. It's time to get to work because you are all set. I want you to know today that the result of God's work is not the vision of one leader, but it is the collective work of God's people.